What's good, yo, boys? Bro, holy leg. We're back. I told you I wasn't gonna come with a vid, man. Come on now. Hold on. So we're reacting to wait. How to beat the Sasquatch hunters in Bigfoot trap. Alright.
Got trapped by a psychotic Sasquatch hunter in a trap designed for Bigfoot. What would you do? Josh is a video journalist, just trying to show the world what kind of wackos are out here living amongst us. But when he decides to interview a pair of Sasquatch hunters to lightheartedly make fun of their entire belief system, goes from 0 to 60 real quick. I'm gonna break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the Sasquatch hunters in the Bigfoot trap.
I think you guys are getting high on your own supply.
We start out following Hector, a contractor helping our team of Sasquatch hunters, Red and Kyle, putting the finishing touches on a large cage designed to trap Bigfoot. Even Hector can't help but poke fun at the pair for their weird beliefs, but hey, payday's a payday. He jokingly suggests these guys are smoking the good to genuinely believe that Bigfoot is real, before going back to base camp alone.
I don't like his talking.
Right off the bat, Hector makes a couple of huge mistakes before he even knows what he's up against. Generally speaking, you would not want to piss off a pair of friends if it's only you three in the woods, alone. Now, you double don't want to do this if they both happen to be hunters.
Think of what I'm thinking.
Guess when you really don't want to do this though. When they hunt Bigfoot for a living. Not because that implies that they're big badass, but because it means they're probably fucking insane. Yup, told ya. There's two potential things going on here. A, insane hunters are messing with you, which, judging by Kyle's "fuck Hector, you thinking what I'm thinking" line, I think is plausible. B, they're not insane, and a cryptid is about to tear you in half. In either case, tell me what exactly do you stand to gain by calling out now? If anything, this is where I'd haul back to my hunter friends, since they'd 100% be armed, and would protect him from the Squatch, even if they're actually messing with him. In this case, to not jeopardize the seriousness of their work, though I doubt that's really an issue to begin with. Alas, Hector is way too slow, and gets beaten to death. Weird behavior from Sasquatch, who are rumored to basically tear people in half and gnaw on their innards, but sure. In any case, R.I.P.
I beat the shit out of Mike Tyson.
Nails, play dates, anal glands.
I'm counting to how many push-ups you do.
We cut to Josh, who calls himself a video journalist, but is basically a YouTuber. He goes around interviewing people with wacko ideologies and basically makes fun of them for views. That's it. I wish I could say it's a super deep character, but that's the whole premise. The dude makes fun of people for a living. We see a series of interviews, such as the Flat Earth lady, who calls out governments all around the globe, which I have to admit, it's pretty hilarious.
Congrats, 4 million views in one weekend?
Josh goes into his office and realizes he's managed to score 4 million views over the weekend, and without getting demonetized. This guy's good. He sits down with his boss, who appears to be baked out of his skull, as he tells Josh the big man upstairs is taking notice of his work. He writes him a fat check and introduces his next assignment. You guessed it, the Bigfoot duo. We see a clip of Red calling out to media organizations with the ask to properly document their efforts. Josh's boss thinks he should do it, but stresses that he's effectively sending him out there to humiliate them. Josh makes the arrangements. You are really gonna regret this, Josh, for the reasons I mentioned before. Messing with or pissing off hunters is a terrible idea. Again, that song rings true twice as hard when we're talking about people obsessed with some kind of conspiracy. I know what you're thinking. Who would take their weird ideas that far as to pose a threat? And the answer is a shockingly large amount of people. At the very least, if Josh truly feels he cannot decline here, which I'd argue he 100% can, seeing as how he's now their celebrity star journalist, he should be setting the precedent that if he is taking them up on their offer, he's going to be doing so in its actual meaning, aka he's not going out there to humiliate them. He's going to document them, either finding something or not finding anything, and to keep his judgment to himself. Besides, it's not like you can't do a podcast-style discussion about it afterwards if you really have to rip on the guy. But recorded or not, not. Making fun of two bears of hunters for the whole world to see is likely a really, really stupid idea.
I am here out in Sweetwater, Tennessee.
Josh decides he's done with life, though, and goes out to meet the dynamic duo. As he's waiting to meet Red, he even records himself saying that this guy's gonna make an ass of himself, ultimately talking mere feet away as he walks up.
1, we find Bigfoot. Or 2, he makes a complete ass of himself.
You are actively working to subtract yourself from the gene pool here, Josh. And you're going about it super naively, too. Red has a heart-to-heart with Josh, and we learned that before he...
The thing is, bro, it's like, you can't really know if he's psychotic or not. I mean, you would know like, if once you meet him and all that bullshit, but you don't really know if through email, sex, all that shit.
got into making fun of people for money, he used to actually publish meaningful work focused on more societal problems, which Red appreciates about him. He also, however, immediately makes it clear that he did in fact do his homework on Josh. Josh, right here and now, there is an opportunity for you to do a couple of things, and how you decide to go about this.
Oh, he's fucked. If this dude right here did his homework on the other guy, the other guy's fucked. So, okay, so this dude knows you're a shit talker. Yeah. It's over, my boy. Might as well tell your RIPs down.
It's going to either be great or really terrible for your health. You go about the interview, sans judgment, and make it clear to Red that you're not here to humiliate him, setting the precedent for mutual respect. You go about the interview with the usual but you make it clear to Red that this is part of the act and isn't designed to humiliate him, maybe compromising on some kind of limit to the joking. With a clear agreement, Josh will admit he's wrong if they find evidence of the Squatch, or you call off the interview and go home, letting Red know that you won't be able to do him any justice, and he'd likely not appreciate the slander against his character. Your boss may hate you, but it's good for your health. Besides, I'm sure for obvious reasons, the company you represent isn't gonna want you to get killed for people's entertainment. Josh decides to take his chances though, thinking the fact that he's filming all of this on the camera grants him cameraman invincibility power.
That's another thing, bro. Do y'all honest to God think that just because you videotape yourselves, you're safe? This person, if he really wanted to, bro, okay, it might take him like a couple of days because when the person goes missing, bro, excuse me, like they're gonna know. There's no way they're gonna know. They're gonna know. There's no way they're gonna know. You know what I'm saying? So yes, they'll say that thing, whatever. But when she goes missing, bro, all the person has to do is just kill him, destroy the tape and all that bullshit, and somehow, some way, try to get rid of Josh's body. But just because you film something doesn't mean you're safe. The other person can literally just destroy whatever it is that you filmed, and you will never be heard from again.
Now,
if it was live streamed, then yeah, buddy's fucked. But he's your recording. But
if we do want to opt for the low IQ playthrough here, there's a couple of key things to double check. 1, our boss knows our exact address, has a way to reach us, and knows what date that we'll be back by. This ensures that if we end up in any kind of emergency, somebody will come looking. 2, our wife knows the exact same thing, and is instructed to kick off the mother of all storms with the aforementioned boss if we don't check in by the agreed upon time. This ensures that even if Boss Man decides to cut his losses, somebody will hold him accountable for our well-being. This is only meant to be a couple of days tops, and for now, we obviously have no reason to suspect something's wrong. So these are just basic precautions more than anything else. Red takes Josh to meet his best friend and partner in squatch hunting, Kyle. Red tells Josh all about their business, what they do here, and even shows him the neat t-shirts they sell at conventions.
They got Bigfoot conventions?
Yep, that's what I thought too. But given the Pacific Northwest absolutely loves their Bigfoot stories, I can't say I'm all that surprised. What does surprise me, however, is that Josh is openly laughing in these guys' faces about what they do for a living, mocking the whole concept that is Bigfoot. Josh, I get it. You talk for a living, but you certainly must have some kind of built-in logic-based instincts that would actively look out for yourself.
Because sooner or later, bro, all that shit talking, bro, especially the other person does the homework on you. Yeah, especially they do the homework on you. Bro, you're fucked, bro.
Preservation, right? Yeah, so then why are you mocking these two guys in their own house about their occupation, which also happens to be their biggest interest and a topic they've literally devoted their lives to, while you know that the job you took on was to document? Like, this is just common sense, but at least pretend to take them somewhat seriously, rather than do even dumber like openly mocking their ideologies and their religious beliefs. People never get touchy about that, right?
Dear Lord Jesus, we pray that we be straightforward like the sky-reaching tree and that the squatches be ever plentiful.
Amen.
Well, that Bigfoot tape turned out to be a hoax.
You know, a lot of people watching are gonna think what you're doing is a hoax.
Red very respectfully argues his points, explaining that for him, this is part of his life and always has been. His grandpa was into this topic, and it was even a way of bonding for them during his childhood. Safe to say, this is a lot more than just a silly myth to Red.
Much like God himself. Just because you don't see him, don't mean he ain't there.
Dude's literally comparing his strict religious beliefs to his belief in the Squatch, which are both things that you've been actively mocking to this man's face, and you're currently being taken to the woods where you'll be camping out with him, alone, I might add, in search of a cryptid known to rip people in half. Josh, man, you should do a 23andMe DNA test. Find out where you hail from, look up the name and burial location of your great-great-great-great-great-grandmother, visit the exact coordinates she was laid to rest, bury your head right there in the ground, and profusely apologize for what a significant waste of heritage you truly are.
It's full of journalists.
And one more will likely be added to its ranks in no time by the way Mr. Gullible carries himself. Anyway, they make it to the wooded area near where they expect to set up camp and gear up. Red grabs a rifle from the back of his truck.
Whoa, what's that for?
It's for decoration, Josh. Once the tent is up, we're gonna want to hang it from the walls like an antique hunting rifle above a fireplace. Josh declines his very own gun, which is super stupid. Buddy, there's wild animals out there too. Not to mention with how much effort you're putting into letting old Red here know that you think he's a complete idiot and that you have zero respect for his way of life, I'd probably want to stay strapped the entire time I'm out here. The best part is that he's given you the perfect excuse for it too. Oh, just in case I'm wrong, I want to be armed to pop me a squatch in the face, which will likely make him ridicule you, but you'll be armed. You have literally every reason to want to take this precaution.
That was Bigfoot. You sure it wasn't a squirrel telling a knock-knock joke?
I like your sense of humor, Josh. You're gonna be the funniest dead man I've seen in a while.
It's a whole species. Australia, they got yowies. Nepal, they got yetis. And here, we got Sasquatch.
Red explains that Bigfoot is just one of many types of an entire species, basically explaining that each continent has its own variation of the Sasquatch. Josh clearly thinks this is BS. Red shows how the trap works, which is a basic tripwire setup, and tells Josh he actually managed to record Bigfoot eating bait out of that trap. I'm sure that'll be some real convincing footage.
Very, very disturbing.
Seems legit. Red tells Josh that they have about 2 days to catch her.
What if we don't?
Well, then you'll bully me like you did that flat earth lady.
There you have it. This tells us immediately that Red has not only done his homework, but he knows the not so nice parts about us as well. Now, judging by his demeanor, I don't think Red is a bad guy. It is clear, however, that he seriously believes.
Cause he's too calm. He's way too calm. He's talking to a shit talker. He seems way too calm.
In this stuff. So not only is continuously mocking him in extremely poor taste, but what the hell makes you think Red's the kind of guy to just let you talk endlessly?
I know you wouldn't do that to me.
Take a wild guess why he's so sure, Josh. Either it means he's confident you're gonna get proven wrong on tape, or that there's no way you're gonna walk away with your tongue if you try to treat him the way you do your usual clientele. They set up some speakers in the forest at night, presumably to try and bait Bigfoot.
You playing it a lullaby?
My God, Josh, at this point you've actively given this guy reasons to want to prove you wrong. They play a roar through the speakers, and hear a roar coming back through the woods. My first thought here was, that's probably Kyle with another speaker, which is a logical thing to immediately jump to, especially if you're skeptical of the situation. He's not here with you, and he clearly has an equally vested interest in bringing attention to their organization as Red. Josh keeps talking prompting Red to grab the camera and confront him about his behavior, while Josh looks visibly scared.
You're a journalist, not a goddamn comedian.
Josh, this guy has the patience of a saint. In all your years doing this, you cannot seriously tell me he is the first and only person you've ever considered that might get mad at you or get violent, especially with you actively humiliating them in public. This tells me you've likely more than once been in a situation wherein the people you interview or their friends and family eventually threaten you or otherwise make you feel unsafe. Now Red has nicely asked you to stop dicking around, and I think that's a stellar idea. Like I said earlier, do what you came here to do. If you need to rip on the guy, at least do so within the walls of a studio or office. Ideally, with a security detail by your side if you plan on going down this line of work for much longer. You're gonna probably need one eventually. I find the Bigfoot thing ridiculous, but even I started getting seriously tempted to find Josh and beat his ass just for being such a dick. I mean, Red is taking you camping here, providing you a genuine stalking hunting experience free of charge. You should be grateful your work takes such an interest in allowing you to reconnect with nature. Red has Josh perform the next form of contacting the Bigfoot by smashing two rocks together. Gives a vibe of a initiation ritual or something. And of course,
If you're wondering what the fuck just happened, my computer does that bullshit. If you're tuning into my shit, just it's something that happens in my vids, you know. Unfortunately, I want a shitty laptop, so for now.
there's a response down in the woods.
Look at that. 1, 2, 3.
They run into some tracks, supposedly from a SASQUATCH, and hear rustling in the woods. It's pretty clear that there is something there, but who's to say it's Bigfoot? It may just as well be a bear, though, so I do agree with their decision to GTFO ASAP. I highly doubt it was Bigfoot getting territorial, as Red suggests, though.
All right. Day 2.
Day 2 comes around, and we hear Josh explaining that he checked the traps to make sure Red didn't rig anything to make his Bigfoot seem real. Josh tells the camera that he's definitely starting to think something's actually out here. What I find funny is that for someone in his line of work, he still hasn't once considered this might be Red's partner helping him set things up to seem real. Like, dude, you're literally expecting him to rig up traps to make Bigfoot appear real. How are you not expecting this obvious
What's up, big man?
Yo.
Speaking of Kyle, Red meets up with him and airs his grievances with the city boy, thinking that he's not buying it. He tells Kyle that he may still need him if he can't get anything by tonight and receive some bait to get the Squatch out. This is pretty important information, believe it or not. Not only do we see that Red is in fact starting to lose his patience with Josh, which, let's be honest, we all would. We also now see that these two actually do wholeheartedly believe in this Squatch, and that they do expect to find one out here. We also get a much...
Okay, you would think if your grandfather didn't catch it after all those years, what makes you think you're gonna catch it? You feel what I'm saying? It's like it has to. It's like sooner. They has to make sense sooner or later, bro. It has to make sense sooner or later, bro. If your grandfather did not catch it when you were alive, what makes you think? When you were a kid, what makes you think? Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
much stronger hint that they're willing to take action if they don't, implying they might be willing to create some fake evidence for Josh to record. None of this happens within earshot of Josh, obviously, but given that he's legitimately having doubts and beginning to get scared now, the one and only thing I can really think of that he could do is ask Red for that gun. Not only will it show Red that he is starting to buy it, therefore earning us +1 respect, but we can also use this to gauge how likely it is that Red is going to pose a legitimate danger to us in the future. How much, you ask? Simple. If he's still down to hand us a rifle, seeing as he offered it earlier, it's all good. If he suddenly makes up some BS excuse, it's clear he doesn't want us armed for whatever reason, which means we may want to start thinking about GTFOing sometime soon. Oh, and we also learn that they used to do hard drugs together, while Red is adamant on staying.
Get the fuck out of there, bro. Yo, so not only is he pissed off at Josh, he also used to do like hard drugs. So I'm assuming he did some crazy shit Brother, you're working with a fucking madman. You need to leave immediately. In about 0.5 seconds, you're gonna die. Fuck wrong with his ass? You need to get out of there, skedaddle, be gone. The fuck?
Clean, it still implies that they may have just been tripping when they claim to have seen Bigfoot. Just saying. Josh manages to get cell reception from atop the roof of the Bigfoot trap that Red had constructed. He gives his wife the TLDR version of things, without mentioning any of the vibes he's getting off Red, nor what they went through in the woods
I'll be right back.
the night before. I really don't think there's any reason to keep her in the dark, especially if you're not getting a clean vibe off the whole situation, which Josh here visibly is not. I also don't understand why he's that worried about going against his boss and making this video less about humiliating Red, particularly if he genuinely feels it's not the right thing to do. What's his boss gonna do? Fire the star they've created? In real life, the competition's probably lining up in this guy's LinkedIn night and day for a chance to pay him likely 2 to 3 what he's currently earning for the PR he can bring any competitor. I'd say he's got sufficient professional leverage to take some initiative on this project. He shows some of the first actual thinking yet in this movie just before he gets off the phone with his wife and gives her an ETA on when he should be back. This is very good because it implies that someone will come looking if shit goes down, and that our wife will be personally on top of it should we vanish. He really should have given her a better sit rep though, so that if the police get involved by any chance, which our sit rep would certainly increase the odds of, they also know to immediately be suspicious of the people that brought us out there to begin with. Even if they're not the reason we pull a Houdini, the cops being up Red and Kyle's ass is still gonna be the best way to find what's left of us.
I figure we leave a trail of breadcrumbs up to the trap for her.
Through our campsite.
Josh links back up with Red, who's hanging up meat in a breadcrumb trail, which leads to their campsite. I agree with Josh here. That is just stupid. Red has shown us that he genuinely believes in this shit, so he has literally zero reason to be doing this.
You're the journalist and I'm the Bigfoot nut. You're getting a Squatch on camera tonight, no matter what.
The implication here is actually super.
Okay, so either the Squatch is real, or this dude right here, I think his name is Red, is gonna dress up as a fucking animal man thing, man bear thing, apply animal man thing, and beat the dog shit out of what's his name, Josh.
Super alarming. Okay, so at the moment, we understand that Red here actually does believe in this thing. He's hanging up a trail of bait that leads straight to us, and ensures that we're going to get our shot one way or another.
I mean, I don't believe in Bigfoot. I mean, I don't really know, but I don't think a shotgun is gonna take that motherfucker down, bro. Isn't he like 7 something, 500 something pounds? Brother. Get some incendiary rounds. Something, bro. You need like, I don't even know, bro.
I'm in danger.
Yep, this means at best, he's gonna mess with us with some sick practical joke to get us a shot. At worst, which is definitely the implication here so far, he's baiting a cryptid straight to us.
And I don't know what I'd do without you.
Red and Kyle share a warm bro moment over by the trap just before night approaches. Josh records another video log, expressing his guilt about his chosen profession. He suddenly hears a roar in the woods, and we see a creature walk over to his tent. He grabs his camera, as we can almost hear his butt clenching up. He slowly opens the tent and sticks his camera out, recording the creature munching down on the bait right before it spots him. As Josh cowers in his tent, the Squatch comes for him, scaring the ever-loving shit out of him with gorilla roaring. Red fires 2 shots, and we hear the creature making a break for it, before telling Josh it's safe to come out. Josh gives Red shit for not killing the animal, as it would be proof of its existence. Ah, yes, a scientist. I'm somewhat of a scientist myself, you know.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
The way Red sees it, these animals are sacred and not aggressive, so he wouldn't shoot it. He calls out Josh for the hypocrisy, since he claimed not to believe in Bigfoot at all to begin with. Then he asks Josh if he believes in Sasquatches now.
I don't know. It could have been a black bear. bear.
Yeah, dude. Humanoid gorilla creatures that eat rotten meat off trees while making clear monster noises that you know aren't bear noises, or any noises that are likely normal in the woods. Whatever this was, it wasn't a bear. As Red points out though, you recorded this thing, Josh. Maybe check the recording? Even if it's blurry, you'll definitely notice the difference between a cryptid and a bear.
Looks like she stepped clean over that wire.
The next morning, they head down to the trap and find that Bigfoot managed to get past the trap and took the bait too, all without triggering the tripwire. Squatches must be super intelligent, or it was someone who understands these mechanisms intimately and has a stake in making us believe squatches are real, like these hunters. Convenient, just as Josh points out. Between Red's questionable camera footage and Josh's blurry camera footage, which he still thinks is of a bear standing on its hind legs, Josh doesn't feel he has any real evidence here. This seems to piss off Red pretty fast, but then Josh decides to run his mouth once again.
How do I know it wasn't some guy in a costume? Or you?
Red tells Josh to pack his shit, admitting defeat, telling him he's gonna go clean up the trap before they head back.
He thought it was a bear.
We see Red and Kyle talking shit about Josh at the trap, but they genuinely seem to think this encounter was real. And critically, neither of them is talking about this encounter like it was one of them in a costume. This tells us we're up against something we currently do not understand to its full extent. Red asks Kyle for a favor, which is in fact to dress up as Bigfoot to give Josh something to record. I'd say this is a idea because if this thing is real, that means the footage will not be proven to be fake, meaning at least your integrity is still intact. If you do this now and Josh manages to notice it's BS, or worse, you risk your entire operation being blown for the whole world to see as he makes it viral.
Man, I don't want him mocking me in front of the whole world.
And there you have it.
And there you have it. Part 2 will be out tomorrow. I got y'all, boys. I would record longer, but fucking I don't have enough time. But I got y'all with part 2 tomorrow. Trust.